Welcome to the MBU Coaches Show. I'm Drew Fry alongside Coach Sam Pearson. Tonight you guys host UHSP here, and Grace Byers is coming in. What do you expect to see from her, and how do you plan to stop her?
Oh man, well I expect to see a lot of scoring. From a respected player in Grace Byer, who is going to be the all-time leading scorer in all of college basketball when her career is eventually over. And I expect to see a well-coached team in Jeff Reese, ready to play here in a conference matchup. Both teams 1-1 in conference, and who are typically near the top of the rankings, year by year, man. So we're trying to find our footing in conference. They're trying to find their footing. And, man, I really expect a battle here this evening. Obviously Grace Byer is the focal point, averaging 35 points per game, filling it up night to night. 170 free throws she has shot on the year at 90%, is incredible. But also, man, they got some shooters around her. Man, they play a pack line defense that's tough to score on. Man, so he's got a good formula, man. Coach Jeff Reese really has a good formula with that pharmacy team. In my group, man, for a lot of them, this is their first time playing, against Byer, against the UTactics. But for the veterans, man, I think that we're ready. I think we're locked in. I think we understand that this is going to be a battle, for 40 minutes worth of basketball. And also I think that we're also trying to find our footing a little bit. Coming off of a win at William Woods over the weekend. So we have yet to get on a win streak all year. We've had 3 wins, but haven't put any back to back. So maybe we can, rattle off a couple of wins here in conference. And why not get it started here on a Tuesday night against College of Pharmacy and the best scorer in all of the country, man. So we're excited for it, man.
So you mentioned it, the win against William Woods on Saturday.
Yeah.
How does that propel you guys into conference season, and how does that lead into tonight?
Yeah. Well, man, any win in the conference is a good win. This conference is full of veteran coaches, who all know each other, know our playing styles, et cetera. At this point for us, we're, like I said, we're still trying to figure out who we are. We're still trying to figure out what group works when. And how to close out games. So to get a conference win here at home against a William Woods team, Terry Nash, who always has them playing hard, playing well. They had 1,000-point scorer, Natalie Thomas. It feels good to get that win. We're looking forward to trying to build on it. We got back in the film room, because we couldn't dwell on it. After we finished on Saturday, obviously we don't do anything Sunday, being a Christian school. We're back to work Monday, and then we have a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday week here this coming week. So we couldn't dwell on it, and it's a matter of kind of correcting our little mishaps, our little mistakes, man, getting back to work, and putting our best foot forward one day at a time in this 3-game week, man. So hopefully we can build on it, build on the positives, man. We went deep down into the bench. We actually started the lower end of the bench, this past Saturday at William Woods, man. So for everyone to contribute to our success, for us to play a good brand, to share it well, dominate the glass, man, felt good. And we're just hoping that we can, we can build on it here for this 3-game week, man.
And before the New Year's, you guys were up in Chicago for the Governor State Invitational.
Yeah.
Came away 0-2, but some good things happened.
Yeah.
You guys led most of the games until the 4th. Jalexis Russell came back.
Mm-hmm.
Sophia Horton averaged 19.5 points.
Yep.
How was that?
Man, it was, like you said, man, there was a lot of positives to take away from it. Getting JR back, I think is going to be critical down the stretch for us. Sophia really carried us up there in Chicago, and coming back 0-2 stinks, obviously, and especially considering what our record is currently. But also, we needed to experience those type of losses, and I say that to say we hadn't been in those situations before in previous games. We're leading by 7 in both fourth quarters of both games in a back-to-back. and ended up losing. So man, those are heartbreaking, and yeah, those stink, and those are deflating type of losses. But also, we hadn't been in that position before. So hopefully the next time we're there and we're leading down the stretch, we kind of we have more attention to detail, and we're valuing the basketball a little better, and we're getting stops and securing the rebound, and we're putting games away. Instead of up 7 to down 4, we go up 7 to up 10, and we get us a couple of victories, man. So in all honesty, in those 2 losses, that's some of the best basketball that we've played. Obviously it kind of hurts, dropping 2 on the road, coming back empty-handed. But, man, there's a lot to take away from it. There's a lot to build on from it. And, I think that it speaks volumes for the group that we have that, even in the 2 heartbreaking losses, I feel like we've kind of come together even more, So, man, hopefully that sets us up, for a conference run here. But again, man, it's about getting better, each day. Myself as a coach, man, I have a lot of room to get better, especially with this group, and us getting better offensively, defensively, and rebounding the basketball, So, it's 1% better each day, 1% better each game, and hopefully we can start that here with Pharmacy here tonight, man. Then we got Columbia Thursday, and then we're on the road to Cotty Saturday, man. So it doesn't get any easier from here on out.
So after tonight, you just mentioned it, Columbia and Cotty coming up this week. What do you need to prepare for them?
Yeah, well, man, I try not to look too far ahead. But obviously, man, Columbia is historically the prototype of the conference, in their playing style, in their championship pedigree, in their, continued success. I think that I've beat Columbia 1 time in my 6 years as head coach. And when we did, it was the first time in like 32 tries, so Columbia has a kind of a big sister cloud over us, and so I'm hoping that, when we step on that court with some players who've never played against Columbia, it's not that same intimidation factor almost, but that's Thursday, man, and that's going to be an entire new game. We're going to prep completely different playing against Columbia, who is so well-rounded and so deep. It's a different preparation than, for instance, tonight when we're playing against the single best player in the conference, with 2 very good 50% shooters around her, So it's 2 different preparations. We're going to take it 1 game at a time. And then the challenge of Saturday is driving 5 hours, leaving Saturday morning, driving 5 hours for a 1 p.m. game. So that's a 5 o'clock, 5:30 a.m. wake up, man. So that's going to come with its own challenges. Down in Nevada, Missouri, with a historical, successful coach, man. So again, man, it's 1 day at a time. It's locking in and preparing for 1 opponent at a time. And then hopefully we can get a 3-0 week, man. A 2-1 week, man, would be amazing. And then we got a couple of days off before we play next Thursday. So that'll feel good to kind of regroup. Work on our deficiencies, whatever they may be, or continue to ride this win streak, man, whatever God's got in store for us, man.
Well, good luck tonight.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We'll be back with Kevin and Coach Preston right after this.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show on the Spartan Digital Network. That's Preston Ingram. I'm Kevin Paulus. And Coach, we haven't talked in a while, so I want to back up just a little bit before we go forward. Since the last time we talked, you took a trip to Florida, the Warner game, the Weber International game. We don't have to break them down, possession by possession, but, just talk a little bit about that Florida trip.
Well, one, is a good trip. And, we really enjoyed getting out of here and maybe have 6 days down there to really just kind of disconnect. That's really kind of what the trip's all about, is just to be able to go connect with each other, put everybody in the house, and have some good times and have some good fun. We played 2 really good teams down there. Warner is, Sean does a phenomenal job down there with those guys. They've been in the national tournament multiple times, and they're a tough-nosed team, and they're hard to beat at their plays. And they played really well. I thought that if we made some free throws in that game, especially in the second half. I mean, I think we go 10 for 20, but it was really like 10 for 24 in the front end of one-on-ones that if we made free throws, I think we have a chance to be able to win that game. And then we moved over to Weber. And, Weber, again, at the time, I think was 8-2. They got 3 tremendous, really good players that can really score it. And they got hot and they got going. I think we was 3 rebounds away from really kind of winning that game. And so, but they put pressure on us because it were both really highly physical games. We had to step up and do some things that we needed to figure out. It was our first time being able to play with all of our entire roster, so that was a kind of a new page for us of trying to learn how to be able to rotate and do certain stuff. And so, I think there was a lot of positive goods that came out of the deal, although that we was 0-2 in the trip. But there was a lot of positive things we got to be able to come out of the thing, and we was able to try to enjoy each other and be able to do some different stuff that we normally wouldn't do here in St. Louis. So that was good.
Absolutely. Then we followed that up an eventful day on Saturday, which we'll talk a little bit about. Good win though over William Woods. We talked about on the broadcast. Probably you guys, William Woods, and Columbia. Everyone talking about going to be at the top. So it's good to protect your home court and get that win over William Woods on Saturday.
Well, at the end of the day, that's what it was all about. When you get into conference games, each game matters so much, and each game is going to be hard. And what you ultimately want to do is be able to win all your games at home, and then try to hopefully split there on the roads. And I think the teams that ultimately end up winning the conference tries to get a couple more games more than splits on the road. And so, they're a tough physical team. They're very talented. And I think they do a lot of good stuff. And it's the first time us playing against them. They're brand new coach, new players. We're the only 2 guys back from the last year's regime, and they brought a lot of heat into the game, and I thought that our guys kind of stepped up to the match and really kind of took care of the home, and we need to get ourselves back on the right side of the stick because of everything we've kind of fighting anyway. So, but it was good. I thought there was a lot of guys that stepped up, and that's been a normal case for us all year, and so it was nice to be able to start off with a win in the conference.
Yeah, absolutely. And you always, every year, I think we have this conversation, breaking your schedule down into phases, and this begins what you call phase 3 of your schedule. Talk a little bit about that.
So phase 3, the first 2 phases is, phase 1 is really kind of going into our preseason. What we're going to be about, how we want to be about, what our mentalities and creating our values of what it is that we really want to be about every day. And then going into phase 2 is really our non-conference schedule is trying to prepare ourselves and be able to learn what we are and what we're not, what we need to fix and what we don't need to fix, and who can do what during that time. And I thought that we was able to kind of accomplish a little bit of both of those. We didn't really get a lot of our entire roster because of injury and sickness and everything else that kind of came about. And now moving into phase 3 is conference play. And conference play is really kind of working on a situation that, it's a 1-0 mentality. Like, you try to set up your non-conference games to be similar games that you're going to see in your conference, so you have a parallel in between those. And I thought we was able to do that pretty successful this year. In the past years, I think we've played an extremely, extremely difficult schedule with a lot of top 25 teams. This year, we didn't quite do that. We tried to make a parallel of what we're going to see in the AMC, because ultimately, you're going to have to win the AMC conference tournament to be able to go to the national tournament. And so this now in phase 3 is going into our part where we break down into our conference play, moving to phase 4, which is the final phase, going into postseason play. And so now we're trying to put ourselves into playing the best basketball we can possibly play in January, February, moving into March.
Yeah, let's not go into specifics about what happened on Saturday, but from my perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I almost feel, something like what occurred on Saturday can be galvanizing for a team. It felt like after the game, obviously emotions were still high and everything, but there was a lot of, unity among the guys, like coming up out of the locker room and, like that they went through something like that. It's unfortunate, a lot of, boys behaving badly, but at the end of the day, it could end up being a galvanizing thing for your team.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's a sore eye on 2 highly competitive teams that I think are well respected and should not be broadcast as anything less than that. A lot of testosterone in the air in a highly competitive game sometimes can put a sore in an area that really is not there, and that's the unfortunate part about it. But I think that I talk about this a lot. This group is very well connected, and they have really good value. They value each other, and you kind of saw it during the mix of everything, of how we kind of came together right away with coaches and players being together, unified, of understanding what it was. And then when the occurrence happened afterwards, there was a lot of togetherness and saying, hey, thanks for having our back, and we got your back coming in the next time, which is great. I'm hoping that we can be able to build off of it and be able to continue it, and it doesn't throw any more shade into anything that doesn't need to be there. At the end of the day, we need to focus in on us and continue to build with us and continue to improve and be able to do the things that what we feel is the right way about how you go about doing things.
So we move forward, sort of. That'll all get sorted out. But tonight it's UHSP. You talk a little bit about UHSP, but also talk about you might be playing this game with 5 or 6 players too. So.
Well, yeah,
we hope 6.
Yeah, we hope 6. I think Moosh hopes for 6. It's going to be a challenge. Again, I say this all the time about Danny. I think that Danny is one of the best offensive-minded coaches there is.
UHSP,
Danny Brown.
Right, yeah.
I think that he does a phenomenal job. I think he's highly, highly intelligent when it comes down to offensive schemes, schematics about how to move pieces around. This year I think that obviously they haven't had the talent of what they've had in the past years, but they're still really good, man. They put a lot of points up on the board in several different games. They put up almost 80 points against St. X. They put up 100 points against Central Christian, and some other teams as well too. And so it's going to present its challenges to us, especially when we're having half the plate, be on the floor tonight. But again, to the credit of our guys, again, you got to be able to step up and be able to hold the rope about what you need to do. And I think our guys are going to come in and present the challenge and be able to face the challenge of what it's going to be. And it's just another opportunity for somebody to be able to showcase it. And, we feel like we're always well balanced. It may not be our starting 5, but like I tell our guys, we don't necessarily have a starting 5 because we have 13 guys that can be starting 5, and I think that we've almost done that in a lot of different ways this year. And so it's going to be good because everybody that we have tonight has been a starter in the past, and they're going to have to step up to the plate. And hopefully we get one other guy to be able to play tonight. And if we do, that's going to help us. But it's still the day. You're still going to be going either 5 or 6, and you're still going to be playing either 40 minutes or you're going to be playing 35 of some sort. You know what I mean? And so you're going to have to be able to go into the step up and do what it is that we need to be so that we can continue and hopefully put ourselves at 2-0 going into conference play.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you flipped the script a lot on Thursday with Columbia coming in here. It's the first time that we played this game with the students here.
Yeah.
So hopefully a great crowd
Yeah.
and a great environment. Hopefully a little bit different, great environment than what we had on Saturday. But,
No doubt.
it's going to be an exciting night as Columbia comes in, and you guys are right in the middle of it. You finally get into conference play, and now 2 of your first 3 games at home against the other top teams.
Well, without a doubt. And, it's 2 programs that respected
Yeah.
each other tremendously. And it's been, I think our last 3 games has been all buzzer beaters. It's a great rivalry. That has a lot of respect for each other of, Brock and I and from institution to institution on that part. And so, it's going to be, another banger. It's going to be another classic, instant classic. It's almost like kind of turning into a Duke, North Carolina type rival.
Yeah.
We're excited about that game and be able to kind of do that. And, they return arguably some of the most players coming back from last year's team. And, they've done a really good job in their preseason already, and they've already got 2 conference games underneath the belt already. They had to play those in the first half there. And so it's going to be a situation right now that, we go into the game, they're going to end up coming in here and they're going to be fighting and trying to get back up, and everybody's going to be jockeying for positions early on because of how important the games are, because we don't get so many due to our conference size. And so, it just puts another pressure on everything else. But I think we'll be ready for it, and, we'll game plan for that, and we'll get ready for that, and hopefully we'll have all of our guys back. And hopefully those guys come out, like a bunch of caged up dogs for a little bit and be able to get unleashed and be able to go. But, again, there's going to be some timing issues in that, and there's going to be a little bit difference in that. You're talking about you potentially either playing 5 guys, 40 minutes, and then on a one-game turn, a couple of those guys, specifically Evan, Nico and Damari are 3 starters for us consistently right now that are going to be playing 40 minutes, and they're going to have to return them back around and be able to play again and be able to perform at a high level for us. And so we're going to need some guys to step up in that game and be able to do that. And so we're excited about that game no matter what that it is. Whether it's here or there, we feel like that's going to be an instant classic no matter what.
Absolutely. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
Good
Appreciate
luck.
it.
That's Preston Ingram, and this has been the Coaches Show on the Spartan Digital Network.